Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. We are in Blaze Division, round number 7. How the time goes so fast. Today we'll be doing a short quali with a 50% race in Singapore. Lovely, lovely Singapore in the South Asian Sea. Um, in the metropolitan area of Singapore. And in on the grid today, as you can see, in the Red Bull we have our Italian brethren, El Calo, joined by Dino. Not too sure where he is. The race will undergo in at 5 past. So in 1 minute's time, we will go green. If my race engineer can hear me, do let the drivers know to radio up in exactly 1 minute. Ferrari, we have Exotic and Mr. Mancan making a return to the Scarlet Red Ferrari. Mercedes, we have T and Toff, double T's. Alpine, Tug, one of our his first time driving, and Reza. Haas, Cal and Gaia. Aston Martin, we have Kermack and Dookie Monker. Alfa Romeo, we have Marvin. Let's see if he can produce some magic today, and some guy. And in McLaren, we have the fastest racer on this platform and on in Blaze Division, Alex, and joined by his teammate today, Sarah. AlphaTauri is original Maza, joined by Ilias, and in finally the Williams we have Gogo and Super Sean. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how it works is that the top 5 drivers in this league gets promoted to the next round. So just so you know, and excuse me, drivers, if you can hear me, ready up, and race engineer, please let them know to ready up now. I have changed that. I'm not too sure why it's not the same, but anyways, we go. Last race, what happened? We were in Portugal last week, and the race was won by Switcheroo or Neo, with Alex coming home P2 and Gogo in P3. Pole was done by Alex, and the fastest lap again was done by Alex. My apologies, pole was done by Neo, fastest lap by Alex, and driver today was Elias. Now, this race, how does it shape up? The driver standing, as I mentioned, Alex, he's definitely going to get promoted. And we have Neo in P2, who's jumped 3 positions. Mr. Mancan, who's actually been demoted 1 position behind Neo by 2 points. And Gogo and Artem occupying that P4 and P5 slot. Now, the drivers below, Riza, Exotic, and Angelio, need to catch up. It is imperative for them to catch up because the grid is tight. It is getting tough. What I'll do now is pop on the track map so you can have a look at exactly what is going on. Everyone should be going out on the soft tires. The track is warm at the moment. It's Singapore, so you will have an incredibly high downforce. Drivers definitely need to be a bit apprehensive when it comes to the walls. You can damage your front wing here. Now, chat, if you would let me know who do you have to come P1, 2, and 3. If you could just give me your list, that would be amazing. I presume quite a lot of drivers will be going for Alex in the McLaren, but I believe Marvinovic has the edge and can actually outperform Alex here if he puts an amazing lap together. I believe one of the Red Bulls is about to go out. I think, yeah, it looks like there's some movement in the pits, and the Williams and the Red Bull are about to go out. So we'll follow Super Sean in the Williams out, and let's see what he can do. Heating his tires, weaving his way through. Now we'll just have a retrospective look on this race. Now, where do you want to finish, or where do you want to qualify in this race? Now, it's always better to qualify in P1 to 5. The reason for that is because when you qualify within the packs of P5 all the way down to P13, it is a very, very high likely chance of there being a safety car collision, so losing your front wing that could act to your detriment as well. What tires do you want to do? Now, if you qualify P1 to 3, our race director from Sponge, you put the notes out today, so you probably want to be on the medium tires. But if you have the pace like Alex does, you will want to qualify on the hard tires. Sorry, go out and start the first stint on the hard tires. Now, that is an incredible thing to do if you do it on the hard tires, but let's see. I believe on our track map here, Super Sean is our first driver out, so he'll be leading us out. All drivers are out except for T, Mr. Mancan, Kermac, and Cal. In the Haas, I believe they're probably waiting a bit. Now, will saving a soft tire here benefit you? It possibly could benefit you through the long run, but we'll switch back over and go on to Super Sean and see the lap that he can bring us through. You want to go deep on the brakes into turn one, clip the apex and run wide on the curb and tuck the car right back in, and he does that perfectly well. You want to go far to the far left hand and deep brake deep again, and then barely brushing the apex coming out of that corner onto the DRS straight, DRS open, tuck right in up on that wall and brake deep onto that curb. Do not run over the curb. You can bottom up the curb and lose time. And this is where traction and overheating can play a massive part in this league, because this corners coming up depends on your rear tires. You do not want it to overheat. You want to go deep in it, brake early, clip the car in and get on the power early as well. And in this section here, you want to brake deep, turn early, and then slowly get on the power, avoiding any form of wheel spin. And he looks like he's done that. He's the first driver out on track, so he has gone purple. Let's see the benchmark time that he can set in. That corner right there that he just missed can invalidate your lap time. So let us see, what can Super Sean bring? Can he deliver a super lap through? He goes through the Singapore sling to the start finish straight, and he sets a 1:30.5. Next up behind him is Marvinovic, who absolutely obliterates that time with 1:28.8. The Red Bull driver a 1:30.5, and Gaia in their first race 1:29.8. Elias, the AlphaTauri, who's now a Visa Cash Up Red Bull in real life, is on a 1:29.2. And we have some guy coming around the corner. I'll go on board with him. He's starting his lap, it seems like. And we have a Ferrari coming out now of Exotic F1, making a return back to Blaze. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Alex with a 1:28.3, 5/10 from Marvinovic, who is the closest challenger to him. Yeah, apologies for that race that I can't. So I've been told the stream says the Inferno Division Brazil. This is obviously not Brazil. It is Singapore. So my apologies for that. I believe there's a bug in the stream and in the naming convention, because I did change it. But, we go. As you can see here, we have drivers coming back on their outlap. What we'll do is just go on board with Mr. Mancan, again, one of the fastest drivers. And he has a snap coming out of that corner into the Singapore sling he goes. Let's see how much time he can recover from that snap. Can he challenge Alex with a 1:28.3? And round the last corner, and he puts in a 1:30.4, not good enough. Leaves him in P10. He will need to go again. Marvinovic and Alex have put in some great base times and amazing times to work with. Go and Exotic F1, P3 and 4, both on a 1:29.1. Then we have Elias and 12th in their own group on a 129.2 and 3 respectively. Any driver on a lap, we have T in the Mercedes, and he puts it P15. The rest of the drivers are either on their out lap or coming in to box. Now, another top contender within the championship is Original M. Now, Original M, again, one of our fastest drivers within the league, and he's currently in P5 in the championship with 40 points. He needs to get a move on because right behind him is Reza. Reza with 36 points can outscore him and will be promoted. And Original M begins his lap. And I've been made aware that it's 1-0 to Real Madrid. But that doesn't matter because this is where the main event is at. As Original M takes the track. And here we are. Brake D, rotate the car early on the throttle, and he gets that lovely DRS deployed, and we are off. And for those of you who wants to know, it is Rodrigo that scored for Real Madrid. The right winger, I believe he's playing left wing today, in the 12th minute. So if you're a Real Madrid supporter, good day, happy days. If you're not, then back onto Blaze. And we'll see Original M hooking these corners up. Not going purple as yet. I believe that honor is reserved for Alex. And Alex, speak of the devil, he is back out on track on his outlap, and so is Marvinovic. I believe they're on the same strategy, on the same plan. And Original M has a massive snap of oversteer coming on to the Singapore Sling, and the track has been revised and revamped. So the Rascas section that was there before has now been completely removed, and it's reserved for this long backstretch that we have. And he comes across the line and he puts it in P7 with a 29.5. That is near the realm of Reza if Reza can improve, and that is who he needs to be worrying about today. What we'll do is just have a look on board with Marvinovic, who goes purple in Sector 1. Alex has something to worry about there because that is an amazing feat from Marvinovic. 09, the Polish driver, dawning the Alfa Romeo, who is now kick F1 in real life F1. And he may have some traffic in the Red Bull, or may have a bit of a slipstream coming up the final last straight. I believe the car's a little bit too far away to provide that aid to him, and he goes purple in Sector 2. So he's really on a flyer here. Let's see how far he can push these timings to Alex, and he puts it P1 with a 28.357, and Alex is on the lap, so we'll go back behind him, and Alex looks like he's abandoned his lap. Something has happened with Alex which made him abandon his lap. He's not going anymore, and he's pulled off the circuit, letting cars through. So Alex may have had an impeding, or he may have made a mistake on his lap. Either way, we'll go back on board with the go and then see what he can do here. Coming into Sector 1, he improves on his personal best. I'll place the telemetry data up so you can have a look. And the go at the moment right now is on a 129.1. Let's see how far he can push it. He has a massive squiggle off oversteer coming into the hairpin, which is not good for his lap time. He has a McLaren there, I believe that's in Alex, that is now pulled over. He is down on his time. Be careful not to invalidate. He's 0.044 down on his time, so he really needs a loss or great loss sector to make this lap count and to improve upon the 129. And he's boxing. He can see that he's not improving, and he is pitting. What we'll do now, we'll go back on board with Alex, who's now gone for a second flying lap. Those tires are well past their best. They're not what they were, but he's improving by 2/10 of a second. That means that will put him in the 128.1 region. Purple in that sector there. Absolutely amazing stuff by ESPL Alex. And he hits the wall and he pits. He hits the wall, loses his time, and he's coming in to pit. Incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff. We then switch on board with Mr. Mankan, who's invalidated his lap time. I believe he's finished his lap and he's put it P6 with a 129.3. We have original M with a 129.5, some guy 129.9, and drivers are gearing up to do their second run now. I'm not too sure what's happening with this SR. He's on a 142.2 and he's gone faster by 7 seconds. So let's see where this can put him. This will be his final run. He will not have enough time to get back in and out again in the pit. So it's a 129.9. Puts him P10, and that is his day done. He will start from there unless anyone else can improve. With 4 minutes remaining on the clock, let's see what these drivers can do. We have some guy coming back into the pits. Kermack is now on a lap, on an out lap actually. He's gone out early on his out lap. And the one driver that has not set a time as yet is Dookie Monker. How high up can he put this car? I'm not too sure if Singapore is his best track, or what's his preferred track, but this is his second race, or I believe second or third race in the Blaze division. He hasn't scored a point as yet, so he still has a lot of people to impress and a lot to prove, not just to himself but to the other drivers in this league, to show that he belongs here, and that he needs to make it on to the next division, which is Inferno division. So in this moment in time, drivers will be playing around with their tire temperatures to get that perfect balance. So at the end of the lap, the tires aren't screaming and you're getting that constant snap of overheating onto the final straight into the Singapore swing. They'll also be lowering their fuel, so some drivers may be carrying higher fuel loads than others. But our main contingent of Marvinovic, Alex, Exotic F1, and Gogo have all left the track. The driver that definitely needs to improve at the moment is Mr. Mankan, because that, in his normal pace, in normal conditions, is not his starting grid. And with original M and all those drivers closing in on him in the championship, he will need to watch out, because he would want to get promoted to an Inferno division. So if that is the case, then he will need it to do that. Now we'll go on board with Dookie Monker and then see what he can produce in his first and only lap in this session. I believe he has a slight tap of the barrier and he's invalidated his run. So that is P19 for Dookie Monker. The rest of the drivers have started to come out. I mentioned that this is Sarah doesn't have time to come out yet. He will need to leave right now. 30 seconds. I believe he can make it out if he leaves immediately, but that is to be decided. Gaia has invalidated, and Aleko, I'm not too sure of his name, the Red Bull driver, is out on a lap at the moment, but there is a lot of traffic around. But what we'll do is just switch on board with ESPL Alex, who's just began his lap, and we'll just have a look through what could possibly be a masterclass lap. And we'll see that he is taking this corner wide, hooking in early on the apex, early on the brakes, early on the power. DRS wide open, goes deep on the brakes here, hook it in onto the left hand side, barely straddling the curb, do not beach the car, and hook that car around not to put too much tire strain through the tires. Onto the straight now. This is the most technical bit of the track, and here you'll need to be incredibly aggressive and early. And he has a massive snap of oversteer, and he crashes. Alex crashes. P1 is Marvinovic. Marvin does not need to do anything, and there he goes past his championship rival, Alex, and he is improving by a 10th. P1 is Marvinovic. Alex has crashed again, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah has retired and he's now 11th, as drivers are streaming across the line, about to begin their final laps. And Marvinovic, how high up can he do it? Put the car, and we see him fastest with a 128.2. I believe Alex could have gone faster than that, but it's what happens. It's the final time that counts. It's not what ifs or maybes. P1 to Alex. Can anyone topple them? No. Exotic F1, 129 dead. The Go-Go has invalidated. Elias has a purple middle sector, and Elias, could he be challenging for P1? He's slowly making his way around the line, and he barely brushes the wall, and he comes around the corner and he puts it in P3, topples Exotic F1, and we have someone in the wall, and we have Mr. Mancan coming up to finish his lap. How high up can Mr. Mancan put his car? Coming around, will he hit the wall? No, he keeps very clear from it, and he comes around and he puts it in P4. It's a lockout on the third row of Ferraris, Mancan and Exotic. We have Original M improving by 129.2 in P8. Right behind him is his championship rival, Reza. This is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. And no one is currently on a lap at the moment, and this is your starting grid. So we have Marvinovic. Alex is beaten for the second time in 2 weeks. Last week it was Neo that beat him in Portugal. This week it's Marvinovic that beats him in qualifying. Ilias P3, Mr. Mancan P4, Exotic F1 P5, Toff P6, Gogo 7, Original M and Reza 8 and 9, and Tongue on his first league race in, I believe it's in Blaze, is in P10. So good going to him, and well done. Next up will be our 50% race. Don't go anywhere. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Marvin and Alex gap in the field by 6/10 of a second, and then between P3 all the way down to P8, that will look like a very, very feisty fight between Ilias all the way down to Reza in P9. Then we have at the back of the grid, Tong all the way down to T and Dookie Monker, who is in another league completely. So this grid is very, very tight indeed. And there's a few drivers that I can see down there, like Kermac, Sarah, who could possibly be making their way up. Can Super Sean produce a super result? We will see. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Singapore Grand Prix. I've been to this track myself and it's absolutely amazing. For anyone in the world that's looking to visit Singapore, this is a great race to go to. Now, drivers, if you can hear me, please, no mayhem, no havoc, no chaos in turn one, please. I've put out a very small joke that if there is no safety cars or VSCs, all drivers will be sent a £10 reward today after the race. But let's see if that's happened and let's see if they can come out of that alive. It will be £190 if I am wrong. So we have something to look forward to. Now, what strategy would I do if I was Marvinovic? Now, tires degrade incredibly quickly in this race. So you could opt for the two stop or you could go for the one stop. If you're going for the one stop, it will be a simple medium to hard. And here we go. We have Marvinovic on soft, Alex on mediums and 5 lights, and away we go. Marvinovic gets an amazing launch from Alex. Marvinovic is gone, and we now look down the grid to see if everyone can get through this section okay. And they all look all well up front. There's a bit of position changes, nothing egregious going on, and there's a bit of a spin from the back of the grid, and Alex has been dropped by Marvinovic on the soft tires. I'll bring up your tire delta for you. And here you go. Most drivers on the hard tires, and Marvinovic is on the soft tires trying to bolt away from Alex. And while those drivers battle up front, there is a collision. There is a collision. While I try to get the best footage possible, do please forgive me if I can't. And up front, Marvinovic has almost broken that 1 second gap from Alex. And the Williams of Super Sean has gone down the inside of Cal, and he has made that move stick. Cal is now fighting back, but the Williams has said no, both burning their ERS to get the upper hand on each other, and Cal has slipped it back up the inside, and the Williams has spun of Super Sean. So has T. Those drivers have a long wait to make up. Ilias is now getting dropped by these softer tires of Marvinovic and Alex. Oh, a 1.8 second gap, but no need to worry. That tire advantage will be coming back to them. So they just have to press on, make this work. The Ferrari boys of Mr. Mancan and Exotic has to work together, see whichever is faster, get past Ilias on track position, and they will be the lead medium tire leading this race. Now, I'll then put up the telemetry of the ERS deployment to see Alex on 51%, Marvinovic on 46%, virtually equal, virtually the same. I'll then go back down, take that off, and then have a look on some of our closest battles on track. We have Gogo, Top, and Original M. Original M versus Reza. Reza is in P16. He's had a horrible start and has dropped down all the way. He needs to keep up with Original M because those two are fighting for a championship. They are separated by 4 points. Reza need to do something, and we have Kermac versus Sarah. Sarah going around the outside. Kermac said no, sorry, my apologies, Gaia versus Sarah. Sarah is now trying to slip it around the outside, and he pushes him through, uh, still not making it work. DRS is now enabled. DRS is now enabled. I'll then go back up to Chung, some guy, and the Red Bull of A. I'll call him because I cannot pronounce that guy's name. We have Ilias. Ilias is slightly dropping Mr. Mancan. Ilias looks like the fastest car in this race, and Ilias is not allowing them in. Mr. Mancan has let Exotic through because it seems like they're just trying to use that DRS sling advantage. If you know how that works, it's when another car slingshots off the other car using DRS to try to get in the DRS off the car ahead. And you just slingshot each other around until you get into the DRS, which in this case, it will be Ilias in P3 in the AlphaTauri. We have extremely close battles going on screen. We have Gaia, Sarah, and the Hasses. The Hasses trying to get past this moving roadblock of the McLaren of This Is Sarah, but nothing is working. And we have Gaia going for the attack. Is he going to make it work? No, he's not. He's going to wait until this straight. But ahead, the gap is 1.3 seconds to Alex, and Alex is desperately trying to close that gap down on his medium tires. He knows that those soft tires will degrade. But if Marvinovic can hang on for a few more laps, i.e. 5 more laps, then he can pit onto the hard tires and try to take them. What he can do as well, he can go soft mediums, but we'll then have a look, and Gaia has finally gotten past Sarah. Now it's up to Cal to get past Sarah in this moving roadblock. We have someone that's out, and a safety car has been called for T. A safety car has been called for T. I'm not too sure exactly what has happened. A safety car. What does Marvinovic do? If this was me, what will I do? I'm not sure. Because the whole point of this is to go. I'll obviously box, but I'm not too sure exactly what tyre to go for. Because it's imperative that you keep the lead to Alex, and it's imperative that you have the tyre advantage to Alex. Now, what does this mean for the race? This means that the race is definitely going to be a 2-stop race. If it's going to be a 2-stop race, for Alex, for Marvinovic, you box on mediums. Alex has to either go for the softs or the hards. So if I was Alex, I would go for the soft tyres, try to attack Marvinovic, box again, and then go for the mediums. So they're committed at the moment. But the person or the team and individuals this affects the most is the Ferraris. They are P4 and 5 on track. They'll have to make a gap. But Marvin is not boxing. He is not boxing, and so is Alex is also not boxing. Exotic F1, no one is boxing. This is incredible. But we have a Red Bull that is boxing. He's the only one in the box. This is very, very bad for Marvinovic because he needed to box. We also have someone else coming into the picks of Reza. Reza's boxing. Maybe he has damage. I'm not sure. We'll see if they change anything on his car. They don't. He's going onto the hard tires. So he's committed himself to a 2-stop race. So Reza now will go to mediums and then back to hards. So, sorry, go to hards and then back to mediums. So very, very interesting. It shows my game knowledge that no one will box in. I don't know anything. But if I was in that position, if I was Marvinovic, I would relinquish the lead and go onto the medium tires. But the difficulty is that I would definitely come out in P13, P14, which will slow me down. So he probably made the right decision. Because I believe he's probably anticipating that there will be more safety cars to come. That could possibly be the case. Of there being more safety cars. The safety car is staying out for a single lap. Apologies for that. I had to take a quick water break. Quite a lot of action happening in just the first 6 laps. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 24 laps? It will be a spectacle. 25, my apologies. Now, chat, who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comments below. Marvin, Alex, or will it be a wild card of someone like Ilias, or can the Ferrari boys produce an absolute masterclass and come out on top? Remember, their main challenger will be Ilias in this race, but Marvinovic's tires will be aching at the moment. He will be sitting up for the likes of Alex, Ilias, and the Ferrari guys. But down the order, we have Gogo versus Original M. Original M is in prime position at the moment. I believe for P7 he will be obtaining 6 or 5 points. So that could work out very, very well for him in the standings to solidify or put one hand on promotion in his bid to drive in the Inferno division. Rizza is in P17. He really needs to get a move on these guys. He will have a tire advantage to everyone around him. And he is a faster driver than most people around him. So he will need to get a move on and make some moves quickly. But safety car is in this lap. We're currently spectating Original M now. We'll go on to the leaders and then see when Marvinovic decides to go, put pedal to the metal. Depending on how he took these out laps, as you call them, he'll maybe not take that much wear out of his soft tires, but it's the reheating process that puts the most wear through the tire, as you can see right now. So he needs to decide when he will boot it, when he will go, and Alex will need to actually not just watch in front, but also watch behind, because Ilias will have fresher tires than Alex. So Ilias could mount a real challenge, and I believe Marvinovic is gone. No, he's not. No, he is not. It looked like he was, but I believe now he is. And Alex is stuck to the back of him like glue, not let him out of their sound. And in the rear, you can see someone has crashed off Cal. Cal is gone. Cal has crashed. I believe he saved it. Let's see if he saved it. I am not too sure if he did, but we'll go back up ahead and look at the main event. And Alex is on the back of Marvinovic, who just had a massive snap. Both DRS being used. Alex goes up the inside, and Marvinovic defends, and it's as they were. We'll go down, and we can see all drivers are coming through this corner pretty much in line. All fine, nothing doing. Rizza pushing the Red Bull driver through these sets of corners, and past Super Sean goes the Red Bull driver. We can see Rizza trying to get through as well. This is the danger of pitting in Singapore. You always want to have track position, because what's going to happen now is the main train of Marvinovic, Alex, and Ilias are going to move away from you while you battle these slower drivers. So by the time you clear them, it's too late. You have to put in some serious laps to keep the pace. Someone is slowing down. I believe someone is letting someone through. I'm not too sure. Maybe that was just from my graphic, but Original M is defending from Alex, and Alex stays on the track and he overtakes him in an audacious way. That is an audacious maneuver by Alex, and one of the overtakes of the season. Those soft tires are crying out for help. That is not the tire to begin your first thing on, especially with the likelihood of there being safety cars. If there was not a safety car, that would be great. And we can see now the battery usage between those guys as they are pushing the battery. Both Marvinovic, both Alex pushing. Alex trying to desperately break the DRS from Marvin. Marvin trying to keep in the DRS range as well. There has been no change within the top 10. And we have the guys moving up of the Red Bull. This is Sarah versus the Red Bull. And that has had a massive snap. Someone has crashed. Dookie Monker is out, and a VSC. Now, time to box. This is crunch time. Do you give up track position to go back within the traffic, or do you stay where you are and wait for another full safety car? It's incredible. And also, may I add, I don't have to pay these drivers anything because there's been two safety cars, VSC and a safety car. So I feel like I'm fine in that regard. Let's see what Alex does do. What would I do, you ask? I would. I would stay out. I'd wait for a full safety car because this is too challenging. The VSC could go green at any moment right now. Even on my old soft tires, I would stay out. This has given Marvinovic and Alex chance to rebuild their ERS usage. So the DRS will, if it goes green now, they will have DRS because DRS is enabled on the same lap. And I believe the safety car is in right now. DRS, there we go. DRS is enabled, and Marvin has DRS. There he goes, and he is burning his ERS. So is Alex. Incredible stuff. Then you have Elias right on the back of Marvin. Kermack has made a move on some guy. Kermack versus some guy. Some guy has lost that position, and we have some guy versus Kermack and Tong. Now we have Gaia joining the fight between this mid-pack, and it is incredibly tight between these drivers. And will there be a crash? They all get through this tight section. All right, and it's raining. Ladies and gentlemen, it is raining. Now, this is why most of the drivers did not want to box of Marvinovic and Alex. And believe it or not, when it rains and the conditions are like this, the best tire to be on is these soft tires. Now, what would I do if I was in Marvin's position? I would box. I would box right now because Singapore is notorious for wetness. Believe I've been there before. It rains. Oh my gosh, and Alex has crashed! Alex has crashed! He has broken his wing! That means they won't repair it within the pit lane. No, they will. They're repairing his wing. So he's lost the lead of this race. And Alex has crashed. Incredible stuff. Mr. Mankan has stayed out because he cannot double box with Exotic F1. Now Marvinovic has taken over the lead of this race. Elias P3, Exotic P1, Gogo, Toff, and then Alex. Marvinovic, as long as he keeps this on track, it is a very good chance that he can win this race. But Marvinovic has a 3-second penalty for track limits. The drama just keeps going off. Now let's monitor the gap between Mr. Mankan versus Marvinovic. It's 25.2 seconds now, and it's going down. 25.3, 24.3. That means that when Mr. Mankan boxes, he will come out behind a huge train because they've just taken out 3 seconds out of him. Now what we'll do is go into the back of Alex and just see him as he tries to maneuver this. The original M desperately trying to hang on to the back of him, but the rain has separated everyone. There is another crash. A crash of Mr. Mankan has crashed. Oh my gosh, he's had a spin. He's had to stay up because Exotic F1 has the priority in the pits. This is typical Ferrari strategy. It would have made a lot more sense if he double stacked and lost that time, as opposed to now it's dwindled down. Ladies and gentlemen, literally 30 seconds ago, I said it was 25 seconds. Now it is 9 seconds on my telemetry. And now here you go, Miss Marvin, Elias, and through goes Marvin past Mr. Mankan. But this group is incredibly tight. Marvin is not having it his own way. Elias looks to have tremendous pace on these intermediate tires, and Mr. Mancan looks like he will be coming out behind the whole of this train behind some guy. Will anyone else come by past him? Yes, they will. Of Super Sean and Sarah. Mr. Mancan will be absolutely raging at the moment. I would to myself at the moment. I would have thought that he would have double stacked to know how much these weather conditions will change in Singapore. We'll turn our attention back to Rizza. Rizza had to double stack with Tonga, and you can see he's right on the back of Cal. His championship rival of Original M is in P7 still. And Cal has crashed. We've caught that on stream. Cal has crashed. That's probably front wing damage. Some guy has retired, and there is another. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Some guy has retired. Looks like he retired on track because his car was still moving. Is there a possibility of another safety car? We don't know. But all we'll know is from P1 all the way to P4, it's incredible. This is a movie. Marvin, Ilias, Exotic F1, and the Go-Go. Alex is stuck, absolutely stuck behind Toff. Toff is a moving roadblock for Alex. And we have Mr. Mancan trying to make a move in Sarah, and Sarah trying to make a move in Super Sean. But we have Ilias tucked up right behind Miss Marvinovich. Let's see what's going to happen here. This DRS straight can prove to be incredibly costly. And we have Alex that's finally made the move around the outside of Toff. And Alex is now chasing after this lead pack. Now we go on board with Ilias. Can Ilias make this work? Tucked up behind him, it looks like Alex has incredible pace in this stint on the intermediate tires, and we have drivers getting penalties left, right, and center. Gaia has a 3-second penalty for track limit warnings. How? I don't know. It's a street track with walls. I'm not sure how you get in a track limit. But we digress and go back to Original M and Toff. I believe Alex is dragging Toff and dragging Original M along with him. But we have Exotic F1 breathing down the neck of Ilias. Get out of my way, he screams. Ilias using his ERS, so is Exotic F1. Go, not using anything, just using his general sheer pace to stay on the back of them. Alex has closed in 5/10 of this group. Toff and Original M are managed to keep in check with this group. Mr. Mancan is seriously stuck behind Sarah and Super Sean, frustrating for his championship hopes. These are technically slower drivers than them, but they are not moving out of his way. And he has his ERS on, but he cannot find a way through. What is going to happen here? Sean goes on the inside. Mr. Mancan tries to switch back and comes around. Sarah has a poor exit in the McLaren, and they've somehow managed to keep it on track. It just looks incredibly frustrating from Mr. Mancan's view, and he goes on the attack of Super Sean and he gets it. And he goes deep in the braking zone and he gets a 3-second penalty for that overtake. Wow. 4 wheels off the track. But nevertheless, might as well make something happen than to get stuck behind a track. Let's see here of Alex. Alex has now closed a further 5/10 on the Go-Go. Original M and Toff have both dropped off Alex by 2 seconds now. He's absolutely left them for dead. He's coming for the wet victory, and Cal has retired within the pits. So no safety car. Don't get excited, kids. It's just a retirement within the pits. The top 3 drivers are connected. I got a report that Ilias he's tapped the wall, but I'm not too sure if he's received any damage. We'll see by the gaps if he starts losing time to that lead to Marvinovic, then there will be problems. Now, strategy wise, pit wise, what can happen here? Well, as you know, they have to pit again because the intermediate tires gets burnt up so quickly. So this is where Alex can come back and fight and speak of the devil. He's right on the back of the Gogo, who's dropped by 1.1 second to Exotic F1. They will need to pit, and this is where both Marvinovic and Alex can possibly win this race by undercutting the driver ahead. And you will need to undercut. Overcutting will not count and will not work. It is so easy to hold up a driver in the wets here if you come up behind him, even if you have fresh tires. So you will need to undercut him, go in first, get out first, and simply do the undercut on him. Now we have Sarah, who's speeding in the pit lane. I believe he may retire within the pit lane. And as I mentioned before, Alex was on an immaculate charge, but he's currently stuck right now behind the Gogo. Absolutely no progress being made. Now, when Marvin comes into pit, because it's a 3-second penalty, he will not need to actually serve it. It can be added to his main, but we'll look at Exotic F1. Exotic F1 is now going for the move on Ilias, and Ilias breaks late, but Exotic F1 breaks even later, and he makes it stick. Exotic F1, he's back and back in full action. Now the gap to Marvinovic is 1.3 seconds, and he's making this stick. Look who's breathing down the neck of the Gogo. It's Alex trying to get into this action, trying to see if he can win this race. He's been embarrassed over the past 2 races because he got qualified by Neo, qualified by Marvinovic, beaten by Neo, and now Marvinovic is leading this race. He has a point to prove that he is still the best in this division, and he has his ERS on, and he's going for the move on the Gogo. Is he going to make it work? Breaks deep, but cannot make it work. Tucks back in. Wow, incredible stuff. Giving me goosebumps, guys. Crazy stuff. Reza, as I mentioned, is just stuck. He's not moving. He's just completely stuck behind behind Super Sean. Mr. Mancan is closed down 3 seconds now to Tongue in P10. That's 1 point, and that group is all the way behind Kermac. And then we'll look now. Ilias is slowly but surely dropping away from Exotic F1. That hints that there may be damage to him. There may be damage on that front wing from the contact that he had earlier, because earlier he was pushing Marvin around corners, fighting to get past, but now he's struggling to stay on the back of Exotic F1, who is right on the tail of Marvinovic. Alex, again, completely and utterly stuck. He can't do anything, but it looks like the Gogo just hit the wall. It looks like he just tapped the wall. His end plates are still there, but Alex now smells blood, and he could possibly go for a lodge in the DRS straight. DRS is off, but along the main straight, he could possibly look to go for a move or send the Gogo defensive to get him offline so he can, make the slip up the inside into the next tight chicane. But let's have a look at what Alex is going to do. ERS is on, and he goes up the inside, and does he overshoot his braking point? No, he doesn't. Get it spot on. That is the second move. That is an absolute beauty this race, and we need to get those recorded and clipped, because those are overtakes of the whole league that we've seen so far in the Blaze division. Absolutely amazing. And now he's back after Ilias, who looks like he's a deer in the headlights. It looks like taking candy from a baby. He has that front wing damage that could potentially impact his race. Marvinovic is not pulling away from Exotic F1. and it looks like one of the two fastest drivers on track at the moment is Exotic F1 and Marvinovic. Sorry, and Alex. Apologies. And we have a look at a fight now going on between Top and Original M. I believe these guys are just going for a Sunday drive, not really pushing too hard, just using their ERS to stay with each other. But the leading pack is moving away from them. Kermac is behind him. Kermac versus Tong. Kermac and Gaia goes off the track, and now Tong goes and Gaia is in the wall. Gaia is in the wall. I believe Tong tried to go for the switchback, and you can see Gaia has understeer. And now Mr. Mancan has just gone through Gaia. Wow. This is incredible. I believe that was a racing incident. Has Tong tried to make the switchback, Gaia came back on track, slowed down a bit too much. Tong could not anticipate that until the car down enough. Tapped the back of him. He went into the wall, and through goes Tong. Now on the back of him is Mr. Mancan. Mr. Mancan looking to make this work now, and he lifts off the throttle a bit. I believe that was moving in. That was a bit of a double move there by Tong, and yeah, he probably you could see the lift off that Mr. Mancan had to do there in that, because he wasn't sure exactly where he was going. So good anticipation there by Mr. Mancan, but we have a look up ahead and we can see that Exotic F1 is still in that 5/10 region. Ilias has dropped back by 1.4 seconds. I believe Alex has also dropped back as well by a second and is struggling. I'm not too sure what's happened, but Mr. Mancan has tapped the back of Tong. I believe Tong might have braked a bit too early for Mr. Mancan's liking, and that has caused the tapping off the back. Now we have, you can see Mr. Mancan is a late breaker. Tong is an early breaker. Difference in skill level is showing unclear here, but Mr. Mancan is now going for the move. Tong is also squeezing him to the wall. Let's see what can happen here. And the two drivers there, and Mr. Mancan, can he make it work? And Mr. Mancan has managed to pull the overtake off. In the back, we have Gaia trying to rescue something with his broken front wing, and through into the points, deeper into the points goes Mr. Mancan in P9. And the Alpine has cut the track. He has a 3-second penalty from cutting the track. Maybe he missed his braking point, but ladies and gentlemen, up front, we managed to miss a crucial overtake of Ilias versus Alex. We may get that and upload it again and see what happened here, but Ilias has been overtaken by Alex. The gap is now 2 seconds to Exotic F1. We believe that Alex was just waiting and just recharging his batteries to be able to overtake Ilias. But as you can see up ahead, Exotic versus Marvinovic, pushing him around the track. 3/10 the gap, basically nose to tail. Gearbox to the front wing. Rain is pouring down. Pit stops will need to occur very, very soon. Who will come in? If I was Exotic F1 or Marvinovic, I will pit in the next coming laps. While Alex has the chance to, well, pit chance has gone already because Alex was battling with Ilias, and that 2-second gap was there. Now he's then eaten into it. Now someone needs to pit. I've heard from a racing engineer that Mr. Mancan has hit the wall. Let's have a look. And Exotic F1 has gone for the move. And Exotic F1, can he make the move stick? Yes, he can. Marvinovic is fighting around the outside, but he is losing tire temperature. He's losing the rubber, but he's made it work. He's back in front of Exotic F1, and he wants a buffer between himself and Alex. Guys, incredible stuff what's happening here. Marvinovic, Exotic F1, Alex. Who will pit first? Who will blink first? Marvinovic has a 3-second penalty, so it should be him. Exotic F1 tries to go around the outside, a very dangerous place if you have a non-compliant driver because they can simply close the door and your front running is broken. But Exotic F1 has done the switchback. Can he make it work? Going into the technical sector, out of over the Singapore Bridge, they come on the back straight. This is now helping Ilias. All this fighting is helping Ilias. Alex doesn't know which way to go. He goes wide, tuck back in. Mr. Marvin goes wide. Exotic F1, both ERS being on and being used. Alex is just tucking back, seeing what happens. Marvin goes for the inside, protects the inside. Exotic F1 switches back on him. ERS usage is on. It seems like Marvinovic has a bit of a straight line speed, but that doesn't matter. And through goes Exotic F1. Can he make this move stick? Marvin hangs it around the outside, and Exotic F1 takes the lead of this race in Singapore. Incredible stuff by the Ferrari. Mr. Mankin will be proud that his teammate has managed to pull something out of that Ferrari strategy blunder. Now, Alex is now going for the move on Marvinovic. Apologies that I've missed it. Marvinovic is off the track, tapped by him, and he will not like that. 1.2 second gap and 1.4 second to Exotic F1. Now, what will I do if I was Exotic F1? I would pit. Because fresh inters are at least a second and a half quicker. And someone has listened to me. Gaia and Tong are in the pits. Ilias has gone for wet tires. It looks like it's getting wetter out there. For me personally, I'd go for new intermediate tires. But the track looks very wet. But the track doesn't look stormy. It doesn't look like it's wet conditions. Now we'll see the gap between Tong and Gaia because fresh tires of both sets, wet and inters. Let's see if Tong is catching Gaia by any means necessary, and let's see if Ilias is actually making his way through the field. Mr. Mankan in P8 right on the back of Kermack, who's in P7. Kermack has a 10-second gap ahead of him. Now, Original M has managed to get past Toff, and Original M is leading Toff. That P5 will do wonders for him. As you can see here, guys, the wet tires look like the tires to be on. It looks like it's time for wet tires because Tong is catching Gaia. Exotic is in the pit lane, so is Alex, and Marvinovic is gone. He stayed out. He's going for the race win. 10 laps, all guts or no glory. Let's see what Marvinovic can do. Wet tires for Exotic F1. Gogo has stayed out as well. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. This is so spicy. Let's see what can happen. Mr. Mankan has now overtaken people that are pitting right now. He's now in P3. Now we can see what can happen. The track is getting wetter. This is incredible stuff. Ilias has come out ahead of Exotic and Alex. Ilias is the leader of this race. Ilias is technically the leader of this race if P1 to 3 does not box. But 18 laps is an incredible amount of time to not crash for one, and two, to bridge the gap off, because that's incredible. Ilias tires are warmed. Now it's Alex versus Exotic F1 versus Ilias. The underdog of Ilias had wing damage, decided to do a W master strategy of pitting early, undercutting them, like I suggested, going onto the wet tires. And right now he's on the very, very back of Mr. Mankan. Look how close he's closing down on the back of Mr. Mankan, who's struggling to stop the car. Look at how much turning capability Ilias has versus Mr. Mankan. It is incredible. Ilias is now right on the back of Mr. Mankan, and he's going for the move, and there is a crash. There is a crash. I don't know where, but there's a crash. And Ilias is around the outside of Mr. Mancan. Mr. Mancan should let his teammates through, and he does let his teammates through. Mr. Mancan should do his teammate a huge favor here, and Sarah has crashed. Mr. Mancan is in the pit lane. No, he's not. No, he's not. Mr. Mancan has let both Alex and Ilias and Exotic through. Now we have these guys, Tongue and Kirmac fighting at the moment, but I am not interested in them. I'll look ahead and just see the gap between the two of them, and we can see Ilias is in that last lap. He's closed the gap to Gogo by 2 seconds. But ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the rain is easing up from my perspective. Oh, this is nail biting stuff because Marvinovic has gone for it. He's gone for the win. He stayed out. This is incredible. I hear Kirmac has a 3-second penalty, but ladies and gentlemen, there's a twist in the tail right now. It seems like the intermediate tires of there is a crash between Kirmac and Tonghina. His full name is not too sure how you pronounce that, but we'll go back and there is 15-second gap now. Ilias, Exotic F1, Alex. There is a retirement within the pit of Sarah has retired. Singapore, this is bound to happen, so no surprises there. But we'll look ahead, and Alex has gotten Exotic F1 has gotten past Ilias, and Exotic F1 has taken the lead of this race. What seems like one of the fastest drivers in this type of conditions. Exotic F1 always wants a buffer between him and Alex. And Alex says no, and Alex is now going for the move, and they collide. Alex versus Ilias, and Ilias has gone off the track. Ilias has gone off the track. They have touched and collided. Guys, incredible stuff. Honestly, I can't watch this. This is crazy. In this moment, Exotic F1 should be burning his ERS, which he is doing, to try to get away from Alex, because it's like Terminator coming for you. You want to try a run, you need to move out the way. And we have Kirmac has gone up the inside of the Red Bull driver, and he's making his way. The intermediate tires are completely dropping off. Where is Original M? He's on the wet tires versus Toff in 7th position, closing down on the back of Mr. Mancan. Mr. Mancan is desperately trying to keep this 6th position on his intermediate tires, and we have up ahead, we have Gogo closed in 1 second on Marvin. But can they withstand 7 more laps or 8 more laps of this tire? Will their intermediate tire explode? They will need to manage these tires extremely carefully. But ladies and gentlemen, the gap previously 2 laps ago was 18 seconds. Now it is 12.4. And there is a car between them of Gogo, it means that the gap is 15 seconds. So this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. Now, what does that mean for the driver's standings? Now, if you look at Marvinovic is in 19th position. He's crashed out of every race he's been in. He's either had a drive-through penalty, crashed in Miami. It's just been heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak for Marvinovic. So if he wants to have a hope in hell of getting promoted, he's currently sitting on 0 points and 19th in the championship. By winning this race, and he currently has the fastest lap, he will be thrusted into 8th place in this championship, right behind Exotic F1. And wow, the Gogo now has a 3-second penalty. This is not good for him. Exotic F1 has taken 2 seconds out of these guys. It's honestly incredible. Ilias is now dropped by 4 seconds. I can't watch. This is incredible. We'll just have a look at the fastest lap. The fastest lap of the race currently stands with Marvinovic, and it will remain with him because conditions will not improve. So that's 1 point to his name. But can he get a full 26 points to resurrect his championship hopes and make it to the big leagues in the Inferno division? Let's see. As you can see, the gap to the leader here is 13 seconds by Alex and 12 by F1, Exotic F1. Um, yeah, this is just incredibly nail biting stuff that we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Um, will that penalty be the end of Marvinovic come the end of this race? But as you can see, the intermediate tires looks to be the better tire at the moment, as it's slowly but surely drying up. The wet tires are no longer the preferred tire, and the wet tires die incredibly quickly in this game. If you've ever put the wet tires on, you'll know how much they absolutely get destroyed. So as we can see in the telemetry, Mr. Mancan is actually catching Ilias and the group ahead. Wow, there's so many master strategies going on here. Ilias doing the undercut, Marvinovic and Gogo going out and just risking it, balls to the wall, staying out, hoping that it clears up, which it currently is at the moment. So, it's in their hands right now. Wouldn't you agree, Chad? It's in their hands. Incredible stuff. Exotic F1 is not catching at the same rate that he was prior. He was catching at least 2 seconds a lap. Now, I'll say he's catching, let's say, 5 tenths a lap now. It's not looking as sunshine and rainbows as it was previously. And as you can see there, the gap has just gone back down by a tenth at the moment. So it's yeah, it's very, very tight now through the technical sector where the tire difference will make a difference. 5 laps remaining, 5 laps remaining, which means that they need to catch the group ahead by 2 seconds per lap because the gap to them is 8 seconds. So if they want to catch and overtake, wow, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Alex has had a 3 second time penalty to his name, which means that Exotic F1 cannot afford a penalty. If he catches up to this group and somehow manages to get within the penalty region, he cannot have a penalty. But Alex has also dropped off significantly from Exotic F1. It looks like his tires are completely spent. But Exotic F1 has taken 2 seconds out of the guys ahead. So Exotic F1 is still pushing on. We'll spectate him because it's absolutely amazing. But someone has gone for a crazy decision, and guy has gone onto the soft tires. My friend, it's not Bahrain, my friend. It's Singapore. This is crazy. Yeah, that's a safety car. Anyways, back to the front of the group. We'll see Exotic F1 has taken out half a tenth or half a second from the car ahead. So he is closing down. It is still wet tires. That's the preferred tire. Um, I believe it's intermediate, but fresh intermediates. But yeah, let's see what can happen. The Gogo is desperately trying to cool his tires down. As you can see, he's overheating and he's hunting for that wet patch. Desperately hunting for that wet patch. Now is the second now Exotic F1 has taken out of the leading pack. He's really, really coming. And look who is catching Ilias. Mr. Mancan has taken a second out of Ilias. Mr. Mancan is on old intermediate tires. Ilias is on new 7 lap wet tires, and Mr. Mankin is still catching Ilias. As you can see, the gap is constantly going down, and as predicted, um, is not fast. Guy is not fast on his soft tires. So we'll go back to the front, and 3 seconds is the gap. Exotic F1 go. Please, in the comments, send your comments and shares for Exotic F1. Can he do the impossible? Can he close down about 3 to 4 seconds in 4 laps? Now, if he gets below 3 seconds, P2 is his. But he needs to catch and pass Gogo and get in that 3 second gap of Marvinovic to get P1. Wow. Marvinovic made an extremely bold call, but someone is in the wall! Alex is in the wall! Oh my gosh! Alex has crashed! What has happened here? He has been having a race from hell. Beaten in qualifying, beaten in the race, undercut, overcut, held back, briefly did not hold the race lead. This race, yeah, drivers have been getting. Maybe this championship is getting to him, but it's not looking well. It's not looking good for Alex at the moment. And not to mention, he lost his front wing, but Gaia has crashed. The Haas has crashed, lost their front wing, like I stated. But ladies and gentlemen, all the hard work of Exotic F1 has been gone to shame. The wet tires are not working anymore, and now the intermediate tires are pulling away. But look on the back. Look who's on the back of Alex, Mr. Mancan. Mr. Mancan hunting Alex down. You've never heard that before. Now you have Alex once the hunter, now the hunted, and is being absolutely hounded by Mr. Mancan. The Ferrari, who had a L of a pit stop, has now right up the gearbox of Alex. Can he hang on to P5? What will happen here? And Alex has a rare lock-in, and he just let him through. No fighting those intermediate tires. It's like driving in a completely different category. How far up can Mr. Mancan get? Can he make it back a Ferrari 3 and 5? If so, this will be honestly driver of the day, because from all the way down to now all the way back to P5 is an incredible feat. And we have the Red Bull versus Kermac. Let's see what can happen here. The Red Bull versus Kermac, fighting for the final solitary point in this race in P10. The final point, the Red Bull makes it around the outside of Kermac on the wet tires, and nothing is said on that. And we'll go back on board with Mr. Mancan versus Elias. Those 2 seconds were immediately consumed. Those 2 seconds were immediately consumed. And Toff, something has happened to Toff, but we'll look back on board with Mr. Mancan versus Elias. And is he going to make it work? He puts the squeeze on him. Elias puts the squeeze on him. Elias then sends it back up the inside. Mr. Mancan goes for the switchback, and that is a beautiful switchback by Mr. Mancan. P3 and P4 for the Ferrari boys. Absolute W strategy by the Ferrari boys. Honestly, driver of the day and drive of the day by Mr. Mancan. Drivers on our boxing, loads of drivers on our boxing to go back onto the intermediate tires, but I believe, my friend, it's too late. You should have done that quite a few laps ago. There are no other close drivers or battles on track. We have Alex versus Ilias. Can Alex on the wet tires close up to the back of Ilias? Incredible stuff. Alex is closing up to the back of Ilias, less than a second now. Let's see the ERS usage between the two drivers, 43 versus 65. Incredible stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. Marvinovic, honestly, amazing drive, amazing big brain strategy. Um, and then we'll say Mr. Mencan, amazing recovery. Just amazing recovery. He's had those tires on for 20 laps and he's done an amazing job with that. Exotic F1 gave it a real good go. Fighter of the day if we had that achievement. One of the fastest, if not the fastest driver in wet tires, in wet conditions in Singapore. But unfortunately, the track condition let him down. As you can see, it's probably soon time for dry tires. So the wet tires are one of the worst tires to be on. Let's see if Elias can hang on to P5, or it'll be heartbreak all over again. As Alex snatches away his final position. As you can see, Alex is drifting around that corner, has absolutely no grip. Those wet tires are absolutely burnt to a crust. But then we'll just have a look back on Toff versus the Red Bull. Toff is now being chased and attacked by the Red Bull driver, the Italian Red Bull driver, and we'll see here down into the braking area, and the Red Bull driver goes for the move and gets it done. Easy peasy. Absolutely mugged him in that corner. And then Alex now has another 3 second penalty for corner cutting. It is not a good time for these drivers here, but DRS is enabled and it is the fastest lap. Sorry, final lap, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'll do now, since there's no other close drivers on screen, my apologies. Um, Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my TV has came up with that standby warning, so I need to do something about it, but nothing is happening. But can you see the stream? Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Can you still see the stream? I have 16 seconds until my device turns off, which is incredible. I don't know what's happening. My device and Marvin has won. If the stream ends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. But I am my apologies for this. Sorry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Good. So we have a winner, Marvin. The W strategy. Go P2. The Ferrari boys somehow, some way, they managed to recover it, and they are P3 and P4. Original M managed to get past Alex. I believe that's with a penalty. Ilias, the AlphaTauri boys, did incredibly well today. Original M, P5. Super Sean, P7. Then we have Toff and Tong coming over the line, and Toff gets it just from Tong. Rizza has a not great race. This was the race that he needed to pull something out of the bag. And we have Kermack finally managing to come across the line in P13. Our retirees, Gaia, Sarah, Cal, Some Guy, Dookie, and T. Wow, what an amazing race that was. I think that's up there to be one of the best races in the Blaze division. Driver of the day went to Super Sean. I'm sure he did well. but I believe it will go to Mr. Mankin for that incredible comeback from I believe it was P19 he came out fighting with the back of the field and then coming all the way back up through to finish in P4. Then we have our drivers, as you can see now, Marvinovic, W strategy by staying out on those intermediate tires, Gogo P2, and Exotic F1 in P3. Crazy, crazy stuff. And Marvinovic gets the fastest lap as well. And that award is reserved for him. In the calendar we have tomorrow, we have, you don't want to miss it. It's our Inferno in season tournament where the winner will get F124. We have a wildcard event, and that wildcard event will state who gets through the finals, and that will begin at 8 p.m. GMT UK time. You do not want to miss it. For the Blaze Division, up next is Canada on the 24th of April at 8 p.m., where we will have 3 rounds remaining. The upcoming races are Canada, Mexico, and Viva Las Vegas. But for now, your winner, Marvinovic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Today I've been your host, D. Any questions? And if you want to join the stream, join the Discord, please do. Link is in the bio. Like, share, retweet, and let us know how you feel about this race. And who was your favorite driver today? And on that note, thank you. Bye.